He's Ambassador Anil Trigunayat, who's been a former ambassador to Jordan, Libya. He does understand the region very, very well. Ambassador, thank you so much, sir. Good evening, and you're joining us on NDTV. What is the big picture? When Donald Trump says that in the next 2 weeks we could have a decision, what do you think could happen?
Well, I think this is the worst that the world wanted to avoid has happened now. And there is an absolute necessity to stop this. Otherwise, it can conflagrate into the whole region. That will be worst for the region and for India and for the world. For obvious reasons, I mean, because of energy supplies, because of our expats, and because of overall economic downturn that will happen. And there is no game plan exactly. Regime change becomes the agenda, then it becomes extremely difficult. As far as President Trump is concerned, he obviously, in the beginning, seemed as if he's against the wars, especially the conventional wars. He loves tariff wars, so that's perfectly fine. But in this particular case, his fact that he has taken 2 weeks to finally do that can happen anytime. But I believe that he's waiting for the meeting between Foreign Minister Aragachi of Iran with the Europeans. And apparently there is some discussions also with the Americans exactly how the nuclear deal will go, because that is likely to be the way out and off-ramp for both sides to do that. But let us not forget that then Prime Minister Netanyahu just did it one day before the meeting was supposed, sixth round of discussions were supposed to happen between Steve Witkoff and FM Aragachi, when it was estimated that they would have agreed to some kind of a deal, nuclear deal. Both sides wanted that. But today's situation is very extremely difficult, highly volatile, and therefore all countries, especially the major powers, need to take adequate action to defuse it.
Okay, and Ambassador, do you believe that the US is already in this war? It is right there.
And this is also a pressure, and as you know, that the US foreign policy in the Middle East is driven by safety and security of Israel as a state, and not a particular prime minister. So that is something very important. So irrespective of the administrations, they will come to the rescue of Israel when it's today. Israel is also taking a big beating in this whole bargain. And therefore, I believe that the US has been very much a part of this. And going forward, whether they will officially join this will decide the course of how the region proceeds.
Okay, and Ambassador, there have been two scenarios that have been discussed and spoken about, a regime change and an assassination by Israel. How can the world today brace up for these eventualities?
And the world does not brace up. The Western countries have done it forever. Regime change agenda is something that is their favorite pastime. I've seen it from the Arab Spring. We have seen so many of the Iraq invasion, the Libya invasion. So there have been umpteen cases ever since they've gone on. If they don't like some regime, they want to change it. But regime change is not an end in itself, because it does not serve the purpose that you want to intend. That's what the live examples are there. So I hope they have learned from the history. It is a standard playbook of removing a particular leader, but you don't know what's coming next. And that is something I think they need to understand.
Okay, and you know, earlier today, there have been a lot of these reports of Iran filing a lot of these missiles at Israel. Israel has also said that we will retaliate. There's a conversation about the Iron Dome, about the cluster bombs. How do you see all this panning out?
Well, it's a free-for-all now. In fact, I don't see that there are any red lines in this or any special areas that they would like to exclude. Both sides have been hitting each other. And you have a lot of these disinformation campaign from both sides, whereby they want to be proving themselves to be better than the other in terms of hitting some people. Some would say that they are not hitting civilians. Others are saying that they have hit only the military targets. But there is no distinction as of today.
Okay, and before I let you go, sir, there is a lot of concern also about the global oil prices, about students, about at least the 9.5 million Indians who are also in that region. How should New Delhi be bracing up for what possibly could happen and a conflict that could continue for the next few days?
You're right, absolutely. In fact, this whole region, in my view, is existential for us. The stability and security is of utmost importance for India for the simple reason, as you mentioned, about 80% of energy coming from there. We have a huge economic engagement, connectivity, both through Iran and through proposed through IMEC corridor through Israel, are all at stake. We have, more importantly, we have about 9.5 million Indians in the region, and their safety and security is also of great importance to us and is a major concern. And that's why, in the very beginning, India issued a statement because both the countries are our strategic partners, urging them for restraint, de escalation, and coming to dialogue. I mean, this is what India has been doing. India has even offered to mediate if they require so. At the same time, our minister has also spoken to both his counterparts. Mr. Netanyahu has spoken to Prime Minister Modi. And as you know, the Prime Minister Modi in Croatia had said very clearly that, that no solution can be found on the battlefield. So this is something that we'll have to watch out how it plays out. India has never shirked from its role of helping out in some kind of a de-escalation.
Oh, yes. And interesting that you speak about India, and many say that India is trusted by both sides. So that is why India could actually play a larger role in the negotiations if it moves towards that. Ambassador, always a pleasure, sir, speaking to you and understanding the perspective.